Hey guys, before you tune into today's episode, I want to tell you about an opportunity where you can secure between 5 and 6 figures in corporate and government contracts. Now I know this might sound a little intimidating, especially if you've never done business at this level, or maybe you don't have a corporate background. I'm here to tell you that all of that does not matter. Did you know that only 4% of women in business hit $1 million in revenue? And of that 4%, 56% are able to hit $1 million in revenue because they go after these contracts. So if $1 million is on your vision board or just overall financial stability, corporate contracts is the way to go. I want to invite you to join me in my upcoming masterclass where I'm going to show you how to create a no-brainer offer so that executive buyers do not even question giving you their money. So who exactly is this class for? If you're a seasoned 9-to-5er planning for her exit, but you're unsure where to start, but you are sure that you're done building someone else's dream instead of your own, this class is for you. If you're a new entrepreneur and just overwhelmed with everything that you need to learn and accomplish and seeking out a mentor who gets it and understands, I want to see you in class. This is also for seasoned entrepreneurs who are having challenges with driving consistent revenue into their business. Now, here's the reality. You have the smarts, you have the skill set, you have the ambition, you have the thought leadership to get paid. My job is to help you package your expertise so that it becomes a no-brainer for people to pay you high 5 and 6 figure contracts. So click on the link below or in the show notes to get more details and to sign up for the class before we sell out. I cannot wait to see you there.
Jennifer Lopez dropped an album. Documentaries, musicals, theater, culture, artistry, an amazing work of art. She was so vulnerable and so raw and so authentic.
I don't think that the album is about anybody. I think the album is about her. But I guess in being the badass that she is, let her diva-ish ways get her this time because she got what she wanted.
You gotta have your team. Like, you have to have your tribe in place to hold you down. And she was like, fuck you. I'm investing in me. I'm funding this myself. Badass move. Period. Put some respect on this woman's name.
Girl, I already know the whole album. I'm ready for the concert.
Still friends through all the ups and downs.
And we only had one fight.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Banking On Cultura. I am your host, Victoria Jenn Rodriguez, and today's episode is a little bit different than what you've heard in the past because you are actually going to witness literally me fangirl over the icon that is Miss Jennifer Lopez. And I've invited one of my best friends to join me in this conversation because to me, she is literally like the ultimate J-Lo fan. She is also, FYI guys, she is also, I haven't even told her this, but she is actually a big part of the reason why I feel so connected to my cultura. Because she is the realest Puerto Rican that I know and is just so, her orgullo for the cultura is just so magical and so dope. And she's just a big reason why Banking On Cultura is here and why I decided to double down on our community. So without further ado, join us in our obsession to talk about J-Lo because she just released a documentary, a new album video. She has a concert coming up and I don't know about you guys, but I'm obsessed. So I was like, you know what? We need to talk about this on the podcast and open it up to the community. And I'm really excited for you guys to meet my bestie, Elizabeth Salvador. How are you?
Muy bien.
I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm like, this is like a full circle moment because I haven't actually had any of my like besties on the podcast yet. So you're the first one.
Thanks for picking me.
So you should feel really special right now, Liz. Really special. So, you know, we're going to go through the normal routine of the show. We always start with what's the bonchinche. So give us some bonchinche, Elizabeth.
Well, like I told you before, I'm very vanilla. So I was thinking that maybe we should just talk about how we met.
Ooh.
And how long we've been friends and where we are now.
Okay. You probably have a better memory than I do. So you tell the story. How did we meet?
Well, we met through a mutual friend that you went to
College
Workbook with.
Yes. I remember that.
And I'm pretty sure that we met at a club.
Probably.
And that's where we probably spent most of our time.
In our adolescence.
And here we are 20 years later.
20 years. Wow. Yeah.
Still
That's
friends.
amazing. That is amazing. Still friends through all the ups and downs.
And we only had one fight. And it wasn't even a real fight.
I don't even remember. That's how I know it wasn't significant. Well, I mean, it's also very difficult to like fight with you because you're just so like non-confrontational whatsoever. So like arguing with you is a rarity because you're just so nonchalant and just such a dope soul and just so like, it's okay. And one of the things I love about you and probably why we balance each other out. But we are here to talk about the icon, Jennifer Lopez. So we got here because, was it you that called me first or I called you first to talk about the video?
You called me first because it came out on a Friday. And you called me like, I think that Saturday and was like, did you watch the video yet? And I was like, no, I haven't watched it yet because I'm going to my mother-in-law's and I want to watch it with my mother-in-law. And you were like, well, you better call me as soon as you watch it. And I was like, you got it.
That sounds right. No, honestly, because, and we're talking about the This Is Me Now. What do you call it? Like, it's not a video.
She was very specific in saying that it's not a music video.
Right. It's not a music video. It was like, I don't know. What was it? It was theater. It was music. It was magic. What do you call it? I don't know. But basically, so Jennifer Lopez dropped an album called This Is Me Now. And she wanted to show her journey, essentially. And so her album really speaks to like her evolution of where she came from to where she is now. And she created this super dope, beautiful, creative documentary / musical / theater / culture / artistry of an amazing work of art, I would say, that basically has a storyline to each of the songs on her album. And it's a visual storyline. And it was just so well done and so creative. If you guys haven't seen it, you have to see it. It's on Prime Video. Right? And I remember watching it and I was just like, damn, she's such a freaking badass. And then she dropped a documentary behind how she created this piece of work. And that is what Liz and I want to talk to you guys about today, because there were so many takeaways from that project that I was like, wow, this would really be helpful. Because I don't know about you, Liz, but I look at people who are where I want to be or I'm inspired by or who have done something dope and I study them. I want to know, like, what's the behind the scenes? Like, what are the takeaways that I can use to then implement on my own dreams? Are you like that too?
I am. And I always try to surround myself with somebody who is at a little bit of a higher level than me so that I have something to aspire to be. So if I make 150, I'm going to roll with somebody that makes 250 because I know that that's where I want to be and I want to learn what she did so that I could get there.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Same here. And so when I watch J-Lo, it's like, it literally is like the business case for, like, I don't want to be a singer per se, but when I was in high school back in the day, I did have a solo for my graduation and I was the one, okay? I used to sing at the top of my lungs, Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey in my room for hours. And my poor daddy, bendito, he used to be in the living room watching his movies. And my room was like right next to the living room. And I'm in there singing at the top of my lungs because once upon a time I did actually want to be a singer. Did you know that?
I did not.
Well, now you know.
That's why I'm in shock. I'm like, jaw drop.
I did want to be a singer. Looking at Jennifer Lopez and everything that she's accomplished, it's like you have to study because she came from the Bronx. She came from very humble beginnings. Her mama was not the most supportive figure in her life, and she publicly speaks about this. She's Boricua. She's gorgeous. And she has time after time have like put the naysayers to rest and did it so eloquently, which she did with this project. Would you think so?
I would say so. And along with that, I think you forgot to mention her work ethic, because her work ethic is like, I don't know who to compare it to, because, you know, she does have those people who are not going to support whether it's her singing or her acting, but she goes after what she believes in and what she thinks she wants to do, and she makes it happen.
Every single time. Every single time. And with this particular project, I was so in awe because she was so vulnerable and so raw and so authentic. So here's the story, guys. So we're going to break down how this project came about, and here's where you want to start taking notes. So this project cost, I think it was 20 million?
30 million.
30 million for her to create. And originally, when she was starting the project, she was like, hey, I want to put together, I guess we're going to call it like visual art piece for my album. And for every song, I want to create a story, and I want to, you know, bring people on this journey of my evolution of me. And originally she had an investor. She had a company that was going to pay for her to make this happen. And then after they started, they pulled out. And what did she do?
She was like, all right, I'm going to just fund it myself.
She sure did. And she decided to fund it herself. And the reason why the brand backed out, and they talk about this in the documentary, it's almost like a cardinal sin to pay for your own projects in Hollywood. It kind of signals like you're desperate and nobody believes in you kind of vibe. And also, nobody had really done this type of project and had been successful enough where brands wanted to support a new project of this kind. So people were just pulling out and really didn't believe in it, right?
I would say so.
Yeah. They really didn't believe in it. She had to make the executive decision like, you know what? I'm going to pay for this myself. And that's exactly what she did. She continued basically the production of this project, which when you guys tune in, if you haven't tuned in already, please do so. And then come back and leave your comments in the comment section, because it literally was so beautifully done. That 20 mil definitely went to work.
30 mil?
30 mil. That 30 mil definitely went to work because it's just so detailed and so intricate. So, okay. So first big takeaway from this is that somebody said they were going to fund it. They pulled out, and she was like, fuck you. I'm investing in me. I'm funding this myself. Badass move. That's the first badass move that I was like, what? Because with Banking on Cultura, like, I'm bootstrapping this. Like, I'm funding it myself, right? And when you're able to believe in yourself that much, where it doesn't matter if nobody else believes, it doesn't matter if you have to invest in it yourself, you're going to do it. It's your dream. You're going to tap in. The herd will come. They will come after you build it. And that's essentially what she decided to do. She was like, okay, well, I'm going to build it anyway. So she actually ended up selling it towards the end after she completed the project.
After she completed the project, I think at the end of the documentary, they mentioned, oh, by the way, someone picked it up at the end. So that was a good come up for her because she got her money back.
Right. Yeah. Which was super dope because the entire time she's putting up the money. And there were moments in the documentary that were really interesting, particularly like the mud example. Tell the people what happened.
Just in talking about the effort and the belief that she had in it, she was hands-on. She was involved in every aspect of it, the choreography, the directing, the visuals, the dancing, everything.
She also starred in it.
And starred in it. But she was so into it that there's part of it where, there's flowers growing and flowers dying and it comes all back to life, just like her evolution. And there was mud. She was so involved that they were bringing her samples of mud that she had to look at, kind of touch and say, hey, I want to use this mud. That one's not wet enough. This one's too dry. So imagine being so involved in something that you're picking such a small thing that's going to be on the screen for 15 seconds. So that says a lot about what her belief process was in making this whole music video per se.
Don't call it a music video. It is a visual piece of art.
Okay.
We don't want J-Lo to watch this and come get us. You know what I'm saying? We're on her side. So what also is a big takeaway from that is her vision. She didn't let anybody take her away from her vision. Even though the mud that she wanted was going to be more expensive and her team was like, really, girl? Are you serious right now? She was like, yes, I'm very serious. She was so keen on bringing her vision to life and not letting anybody else's opinion deter her from executing it the way that she wanted. And that was a huge takeaway for me because I was like, there's so many moments where you bring your ideas to someone and they'll give your opinion, and depending on where you are, you might take on their opinion as your own, and then you don't pursue it, or you change your original vision, or you don't believe in yourself enough to do it your way. And so it was so powerful to see her just be like, no, I want to do this my way. And it's the only way. And if you don't like it, there's the door.
I got the money to do it.
Right. There's the door. But what's also dope about it, Liz, was women sometimes are labeled as bitches when they are particular about what they want.
Well, I think that in things that I've heard about J-Lo, because I obviously never met her, I wouldn't say bitch, but so much so as she has gained the title of diva. But I guess in being the badass that she is, let her diva-esque ways get her this time because she got what she wanted.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that people will put a label like diva as there's this negative connotation towards it when someone is aggressively pursuing what they want. It's happened to countless of women. I think Beyonce had a documentary where they were coming for her because she was very particular about what she wanted. And it's so important for us to make sure that if we have a vision and if we believe in this vision, that regardless of what anybody's trying to label you as, especially as a woman, because they'll try to label you to kind of dim you down, and try to take away your power. And you're I don't want to be offensive. I don't want to be aggressive. But you have your vision, right? If she would have deterred and let people have their way because it was easier for them, it wouldn't have been the project it is.
I think that in her making this, her taking up on anyone else's ideas wouldn't have worked for her, simply because it was her story and she was telling it her way. There's no way that I'm going to be able to tell you Victoria's story. So there's no way that any executive, no matter the best executives in the world, are not going to be able to tell her story and let us as the audience understand it the way she wants us to.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I think by her taking full ownership of how it went, just all played to her on her side.
Right. To her advantage. Mm-hmm. What I thought was also really dope that she admits to in the documentary was how scared she was. How scared it was for her to fund this project. That's a lot of money, $30 million. That's a lot of fucking money. And she believed in it so much that she was like, you know what? I'm going to invest. But also because so many people were kind of hesitant because she was trying to recruit people to do the Zodiac Roundtable and be a part of the project. And they were kind of like, I'm good. Right? There were a couple of instances.
I feel like in part of the documentary, she says something like Khloe Kardashian was supposed to be one of the zodiacs and that she was kind of scared. And so she didn't really do it. And then, like, I know other people were like that they had, like, other things going on, so they couldn't make the time. And, like, when you think about or see the zodiac circle that she had, you kind of like, I don't know if those are people that I would, like, really associate with J-Lo, per se, you know. But I think that they really did the video perfect. Justice because, like, she found the people who, you know, despite us not thinking that they were the ones who were rallying behind her, they showed up for her. And the people who you think would show up for her, like, she wanted Bad Bunny to maybe make a appearance. She wanted Anthony Ramos to be in it. And he said no because he was friends with Mark Anthony. And he thought that she was going to be bad-mouthing Mark Anthony, when I don't think that the album is about anybody. I think the album is about her. Mm-hmm. And that's where everybody, like, when I first watched the music video art piece, I was like, oh, she's talking about this time. Maybe that's Mark. And then at one of the songs, she talks about different signs. And I was like, Googling, who she dated was a Leo. Who that she dated was a Pisces. And I was trying to figure out who was who. And then I was like, why does it matter? I don't think that's what she's trying to tell me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, that was really a big key takeaway for me too. It's like, in those moments when you call on people that you think are your peoples and you need them to show up for you and they don't, it's so, like, monumental, like such a shift in your life.
And it makes you realize, so, like, J-Lo doesn't have, like, a lot of believers in Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like, people are kind of like, oh, she can't really sing. She's a mediocre actress. We can't take away she could dance. Mm-hmm. She could fucking dance.
She sure can.
But, you know, she has those people who are like, she's okay. And because of that, I think a lot of people also pulled back because they were like, I don't really believe in her that much. And this vision, like a long music video. But, like, when you see the end result, I thought it was a beautiful piece.
I thought it was absolutely amazing. And who needed to be on the project was in the project. But just think about the shoes that she is in. Like, people are doubting you all the time. Your peers in your industry are doubting you all the time. You have to fund your own project. You're scared. Nobody has really done this at this level before. You're sharing the most vulnerable parts of your life. If you watch, you will see she shares things about her love life and how she showed up in the world where a lot of people would be embarrassed to share those things about themselves and to be that vulnerable, especially at the level that she at. She's already a target. Now she's over here releasing her innermost thoughts. Now she's even more of a target, and she is scared as shit like anybody else would. And she also has her own thoughts in her head that she's combating, right? Her own self-doubt, her own imposter syndrome that was like, you know, messing with her, that comes along with it because we're human. So obviously we're all going to experience it. But that was a huge takeaway of how scared she was and still did it. Still decided, you know what? I'm going to do this shit scared. Who knows how it's going to end up.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that it also is a full circle moment because now we understand a side of her that we always kind of was like, why is she like engaged 6 times, married 4, one time less than a year? And now it all kind of makes sense. You know, I feel like she's finally got into the full happiness that she's been desiring for all these years. She's finally there and she's like, this is my story and I'm ready to tell it. And I think that she picked the right time. You know what I mean? She's getting older. She hopefully is with her forever partner this time, you know? And even if she's not, who cares?
Mm-hmm. Totally. What I love also about this project, but the overwhelming theme was love. love of yourself, loving love enough to welcome love into your life over and over again, even though you've been disappointed, even though you've had failed relationships, even though you are yearning for somebody to see you for you and for it to work. That was a beautiful part of the project because so many people are scared of love. Like they're scared to love because they're scared of getting hurt. And she constantly got hurt again and again and again and still was a champion of love and still was like, nope, I'm not giving up. I'm going to find my happy. I'm going to keep going. I don't care if I've been engaged X amount of times. I don't care if I've had this failed marriage. I'm going to start over. And a lot of women in particular choose not to start over because, oh, well, what would they think? Or I'm just tired. I don't want to do it anymore. They're like, I'll just be by myself. So I thought that was beautiful and a message that needed to get out to the world because we all need like more love in this space. What I also appreciated about the project is that she put so many people of color and Latinos on with this project, to her dancers, who was behind the camera, her assistants, her bringing in Fat Joe as her therapist. And that's why I love when Latinos believe in themselves to that capacity and don't take no for an answer, because it allows us to put on others in our community and just push the community forward. What do you think about that?
I think that as Latinos, we are beginning to become the majority. So it's important that we rally behind each other and stay strong so that, we're not beating each other down. And I think that her elevating and keeping Fat Joe in her life consistently for how long has her career been? 25, 30 years? Mm-hmm. As a teenager, I watched Selena, and then I started seeing music videos with J-Lo, and I always was like, oh my gosh, she's so cool. Like, I want to be like her, and it's so crazy because I always looked at her like this woman, and like, she's really only like 10 years or 15 years older than me, and I always idolized her, but she always stayed consecutive with keeping her people on board. Yeah, she did have to leave the Bronx, but who wouldn't when who you are in Hollywood? You know what I mean? And I hate that so many people like try to bring her down for that. But like, what I look like still living in Brooklyn if I got $500 million in the bank.
Right.
And I feel like Joe and her, and even like her having remixes with Bad Bunny and even people of color, the LL Cool J's, the Ja Rules, she's just bringing everybody with her. And I feel like people need to just put some respect on her name at this point.
Period. Put some respect on this woman's name. Like, they really try and come for her at every single angle. And I remember, she was like being interviewed. She was at some conference and she was talking about how they tried to put her in a box so bad. Like, you're just a dancer. Like, stick to dancing. Don't try to sing. Don't try to act. Like, stick to your lane, and that's your lane. That's it. And she spoke about how her choosing not to stick to what everyone perceived as her lane has allowed her to have this, like, luxurious life and create and be the architect of like her own journey versus always just being known as one thing. And I find that sometimes I'm under pressure to be in a box, to like fit into a particular mold and just do it that way and become known for just that thing. And so we need examples like J-Lo to aspire to be our role model, to show us like there is another way outside of whatever society is trying to drill to you is the only way,
Yeah. But that also talks about like a character, right? So like you could think about it. Do you want to be great at one thing or good at many things? You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what she's doing. She might not be the best actress. No, she's not. She may not be the best singer. No, she's not. But she is good at it. She's a good singer, enough that she's made all these millions of dollars. She's a good actress, that she has #1 movies in the box office. So what's wrong with that?
I love that. I love that. That's like another key takeaway. Like, really think about, do you want to be excellent at one thing, or do you want to be good at many things? But it's so interesting because, like, if you go apply for a job, or if you're like speaking to someone, many people will try to tell you that you need to be a specialist. Like, you need to be a specialist at this one thing, and that's how you're going to make X amount of dollars, etc. And here you have a prime example of someone who is not, she's a specialist in certain things. Like her work ethic, she's a specialist.
And her wardrobe.
Oh,
we can't forget about that.
Talk about it. Okay. She is a specialist in certain areas for sure, but she's also very good in other areas. Like, you don't need to be excellent in every single thing in order to live a fruitful life and also be successful. Yeah?
Word.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about mi gente. I need your help. Look, the real game behind podcasts is we need to really understand our demo, aka you, our audience, so that when we go out to sponsors who help us put on this amazing show and deliver this content to you, that they can clearly understand who we serve and what is significant to you and what you value. And the only way for us to get that information is for you to give it to us. So we just created this survey. I'll put it in the show notes. It will take you less than 3 minutes, literally, but it will be so helpful for us to get a better understanding of what it is that you care about, what's important to you, what do you value, so that when we're out in these streets trying to secure the big bag and get sponsors for this show, they know exactly who our audience is and what you care about. So we can bring you the best products, we can bring you the best organizations that are out here serving the cultura, the community, you. So please take a moment and fill out the survey. I'll link it in the show notes. Appreciate you. Mi gente, I've got the perfect freebie for you. So I just dropped a 17-page workbook to help you get your mind right, especially in this climate of so much uncertainty. So if you are an aspiring or current entrepreneur and you're just feeling stuck, you're not feeling too good about what the future holds, and all the turmoil, the politics, all of it is just throwing you off your game, this workbook is actually going to act as a journal for you. It covers goal setting, efficiency tips, how to manage your time, financial management tips, strategies on how to wrap your head around the next big thing that's coming down the pipeline to bring you consistent revenue in your business. It covers what you should be doubling down on in terms of your well-being. And it is just my favorite jam-packed journal full of marketing and sales strategy to help you get clarity, but most importantly, to help you secure the big bag. So make sure to tap on the link in the show notes. I've linked it there so that you guys can get really clear on the top hacks that you can put into play in 2024 to set yourself up for success. I hope you love it. Benny Medina. And having a strong team. Talk about certain scenes with Benny.
So Benny, as we all know, has been J-Lo's lifelong manager. He believed in J-Lo when nobody believed in her. And that man probably has stories to tell, because he probably seen the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to her. But he has been her ride or die for 30 years, whatever the case is, however long her career has been. But he has always been like, part of the documentary, right? We see him at a conference room table talking to the people who are helping put this whole thing together. And they keep referring to it as a music video. And he's like, it's not a music video. They said it again. He was like, I said it's not a music video. We need to stop referring to it as a music video. And I love that he has always been by her side. He never gave up on her, despite the people are saying like, she ain't nobody, she's not nothing. And he was just like, it's my girl, I'm going to stay with her. And I feel like Benny, it plays a huge role in her success too.
Absolutely. And another key takeaway, like, you got to have your team. Like, you have to have your tribe in place to hold you down. She wasn't in that room. And he spoke for her in that room and made sure mofos know it wasn't a music video. But there were so many other moments where he showed up for her in so many powerful ways. And you need people that you can trust on your team. Like, you need a solid team if you are going to really, in my opinion, reach your fullest potential. You have to have a solid team and people that you can depend on. Like, I consider you a solid member of my team.
You better.
You are a solid member of my team. Like, I know I can call Liz and Liz got me. I know that without a doubt. Like, I know that 1000% and vice versa. So you need people like that in your life, personally and professionally. And if they become your family, like Benny's her family at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
It's even better because once you have people that you can trust, it's easier for you to bring your vision to life. It's easier for you to take on the world on your shoulders. It's easier for you to take on the naysayers. It's easier for you to, fight through the moments of self-doubt. One of the things that I am fearful of is like when Banking on Cultura blows the fuck up, like I'm going to be more and more in the spotlight, which makes me more and more of a target. And people come for me. When I launched season 1, people were already coming for me because that was 30 pounds ago and they were talking shit about my weight. Like, so it's already happening. So imagine at that level when literally you can walk down the street and people will recognize you automatically. You know that's going to happen. You need like people like you, because I'll be hitting you up and I'll be like, yo, Liz, these people are really coming for me right now. Like,
and I'm going to tell you that you could tell them trolls to keep going wherever they was going to. We don't need to be reading these comments. There's no point, and I said this all the time, there's no point on going on someone's, business or their social networks just to say some negative shit. Like, what good does that do for you? Does that make you feel good about yourself?
Really, yeah.
Like, what's the point of that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, I could think it. I could for sure think it. But I'm not going to waste my time on posting it or writing under your photo to make you feel away.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish more people thought that way. Because everybody got an opinion out here and everybody got something to say. And even if it was something where it was like an outfit and they'll be like, oh, I don't really like her outfit. It makes her look this way or this way.
We could talk about outfits all the time because there's been numerous times that I've been like, you need to turn around and change that. Yeah. Or you need to adjust this.
Right.
But that's why I consider myself a good friend because I won't let you go out looking at a hot mess.
Right. But it's different when it's someone you trust versus like a stranger that's just trying to tell you who you are and doesn't even know you. And you make that choice when you take on the responsibility of building your own legacy and being the captain of your ship. Like, it's going to come with scrutiny one way or another. It doesn't matter. It's unavoidable. If you're doing something magical, if you're doing something that people wish they can do themselves, if you are doing something that is a risk, if you are doing something where you are coloring outside the lines, breaking out of the box, breaking out of the mold, people will have something to say about it. It's inevitable. And one of the things I admire about J-Lo and I try to embody whenever I like read a comment and I feel a way is like, they be saying shit about J-Lo. Like, stop.
You know what's so crazy though? That I be on Instagram and I see like headlines on things like when the album came out and documentary came out, obviously she was on, the gossip pages because people always want to be on the gossip pages. And I get mad for her though. I be like,
me too.
I be like, why you such a hater?
Yeah.
Like, why you can't celebrate her wins?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why you gotta be saying some stupid shit? Like, I saw something earlier that they were saying something like, look at J-Lo's sales on her tickets. Like, they showed the concert, and you know how you could see, like, the seats that are filled and the seats that are not? They actually put a screenshot on it and was like, look at how many tickets she hasn't sold. Her tour hasn't even started. First off, her tour is 3 months away before it starts. like, you expected her to sell out arenas 3 days into ticket sales? People are so ridiculous.
They are really ridiculous. And I think you just have to make a decision that you're going to, like, grow your thick skin and do it regardless of what anybody has to say. I think that's, like, super, super important. So let's talk about the marketing that went into this, because I thought it was such a beautiful soliloquy. It was, like, so beautifully executed, and something that each of us can take away when we are trying to launch our own projects, our courses, our products, our programs, our services, whatever it is. Anything you're trying to create buy-in from, I was like, wow, this marketing campaign was badass. So she had, like, a lead-up campaign before she dropped the visual work of art, where she was, like, hyping it up, like, on social media, letting people know that it was coming, right? So she had her lead-up campaign. Then, once the project dropped, she obviously marketed it everywhere. Everyone that was involved in the project was also collaborating on a lot of what she was posting. So that enhanced her reach and exposure. And she then went on all these podcasts and started talking about the project.
And she went on, like, a TV tour, because she was across every morning show every day for the week leading up to the album being released. And aside from that, she also made specific... So I bought the J-Lo record because I have a record player.
And because you're obsessed.
And I don't have a CD player, so I couldn't get the CD. But she did make a cover for each streaming network, and each album is different. So she made one specific for Target. She made one specific for Walmart. She made one specific for Amazon. She made one even for Urban Outfitters. So each, like, record is different, and each album cover is different. And then my husband was like, what, are you going to get everyone? And I was like, I mean, I think I should just get a couple, and then, like, I could just save this one and keep it wrapped in mint condition, and then we could just open the regular one and just play it. And he's like, you need to stop. You're a fiend.
No, but this is a really good point. Like, again, play into the marketing, y'all. That's strategy and intentionality. Here you have a consumer who is a fan, who was ready to buy each and every different cover. But if her team never released a different cover for each of the songs, then she wouldn't have sold that stuff. So again, I want you guys to make sure that you're taking away the business elements of this project. Like, that is one of the reasons why Liz and I wanted to have this conversation, because as entrepreneurs, as aspiring entrepreneurs, you need to pay attention to what other people are doing and how they are executing their campaigns, because it is designed in such a way to drive the most revenue. Yes, it costs money to produce. It costs money to create, but you're making the money on the back end by creating things like these products. And what also was really cool is it was like an entire campaign. Like, she had the visual art drop. She had the new album drop. She announced her tour. Then on top of that, she created, like, basically a mini concert for Apple TV.
Which was fire, and gave us the only teaser for the concert of what's to come.
Liz watched it. I refused to watch because Liz and I are actually going to one of the stops on her tour. And I'm actually super really excited about it because it's going to be like our Renaissance. You know how Beyonce and her Renaissance, how big it was for the Black community? This is going to be like the Latino Renaissance. And Liz and I are already working out our outfits. Of course, Liz thinks about this. She's already got pretty much your whole outfit, I feel like, for it. But it's the point that she announced she's going on tour. She created the concert for Apple TV, which I refuse to watch because I just feel like she might do some of that on the tour. So I don't want it to be like,
it's going to be so different though, watching it in TV and watching it at home, because I went to her last concert.
Watching it in person versus watching it at home.
Right. Because I went to her last concert, and I think I shared this with you, but the moment J-Lo came out, I was sitting all the way at the top. And I was literally crying to the point that my husband was like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, I'm in the same room as Jennifer Lopez. We're breathing the same air. He's like, babe, you're like 300 feet away from her. And I was like, it doesn't matter. I'm here. And I can't wait to have that feeling again.
Yeah. And I think that's a huge, like, takeaway, too. Like, you want to build, like, they call them super fans. Like, you are a super, like, I'm a fan, pero Liz is, like, 10 steps ahead of me.
Girl, I already know the whole album. I'm ready for the concert.
Oh, my God. I need to listen to the album again. But she's, like, a super fan. And you want those in your community because they're going to show up for you. They're going to stick up for you. They're going to buy your products. They're going to push your stuff. They're going to repost your stuff. Like Liz, I always know when J-Lo is dressing some fire because she's always reposting it on her stories. I see it before J-Lo page. I get it on Liz's page. But this is another key takeaway. Like, you want to have people so invested in what you are doing so that whenever you drop something, like, you already have this amazing fan base that's going to come out and show you support. I think that was huge. What she also did, she had the ad with her boot thing during the Super Bowl.
Which was so funny.
It was really
so funny. We got to see a side of him that, you know, we don't really see too much about him. Mm-hmm. He's very private. And I'm glad that we were able to see that side of their relationship because I don't know about you, but when they got back together, I was like, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of them when they dated 20 years ago, but like in seeing the documentary and seeing him stand behind her, and even when she brought out the book that she based this whole album off of, which included letters and emails from the 20 years that they haven't been together, which in a sense, I always felt kind of connected to J-Lo because me and my husband got back together after dating, and we got back together 15 years later. And I had wrote my husband a bunch of letters when we were dating, and when we got back together, he still had them all.
He did?
He still has them.
Oh my God, how cute is that?
He still had them. When we dated in high school, we got those little necklaces that had the rice. Oh. That said Liz and John. He still has his that says Liz.
Oh, get cute.
I know.
Oh my God.
And that was another way that I was like, you see, I'm J-Lo's cousin.
I am J-Lo. You know, that's what I tell myself when I'm working out at the gym. I swear to God, I got the mirrors around me and all I think about is J-Lo. I'm like, J-Lo, J-Lo, J-Lo. I swear that's what I think about. But yes, it was nice to see a different side of him, and this project also allowed us to see that other side of him, which was like almost like the icing on the cake because we never hear from him about their relationship ever.
And I just want to circle back real quickly to the marketing because we talk about This Is Me Now, right? And she had an album called 20 years ago called This Is Me Then. And it's so funny because in marketing this new album, she talks about the last album, which made the streams of that first album go up. Because I re-listened to the album. On occasion, I would re-listen to it because I liked the album. You know what I mean? But when she started talking about it again, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that song, This Is Ben. I used to love that song. So I was like, I'm going to look for it on my Spotify and download it so that I could hear it on the train on my way to work. So like, I think that she was very strategic in the marketing of everything that's happening right now. And especially because she's considering that this might be her last album and last tour. So I think she did it brilliantly.
Same here. It was executed flawlessly. And we still haven't even seen the full execution because there's so much other things that are happening that we don't even know about yet that are coming up. So let's do a quick summary of key takeaways. So one thing that stuck out for me was individuality and authenticity always wins. I think J-Lo has been herself literally throughout her entire career. The good, the bad, the ugly. Would you agree with that?
I would agree in a sense, in the fact that like she was one of the first to be in Hollywood with a booty, you know, and she was like, I can't do nothing about it. This is me. You either take me or you don't. And I feel like, you know, she broke grounds in that way. You know, she made it okay to be curvy in Hollywood, you know. But do I feel like she probably sometimes folded for the people? I think she could have a couple times.
Yeah.
Not often, but I think maybe, yeah.
What's an example?
Damn, put me on the spot.
I mean, you disagree with me, so I'm like, okay, give me an example. Because when I
would say the Super Bowl show.
Hmm.
Right? So we all know J-Lo didn't need to have a co-performer.
Right. She didn't need Shakira. Yeah.
So, but she did it to be in the show. When we know, when she did the documentary about the Super Bowl, she said she didn't feel like she needed one. So I feel like, in a sense, she was like backing her fullest to, like, she could have stood up for herself and said, no, I don't want this. But she was like, you know what? I want to be on the Super Bowl. So let me just do what they tell me to.
That's a good example. That's a good example. You see? I'm not putting you on the spot. You got this. Another key takeaway is believing in yourself. Like, you have to believe in yourself. Even when the odds are stuck up against you and nobody believes in your vision. Gotta believe in yourself. Using doubt as fuel instead of an Achilles heel, right? Team matters. Talk about Benny Medina. Having a plan. Like, she had to plan the marketing campaign. She had a plan the drops.
Well, in watching this, it's almost like she's been planning this the whole time.
Right? Yes.
Like, she's been plotting and waiting for the perfect time to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it was lucky for us that her and Ben got back together.
Right. Because do you think it would have dropped? I don't think so.
And if it did, it wouldn't have been the same because the album wouldn't have been so reflective.
Right.
Of her love journey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, I would agree with that. Investing in yourself, critical. And I think it's not just the money in terms of investing in yourself. Like, J-Lo invests in herself with her nutrition, with her workout plan, with how she shows up when she's on the red carpet, with her makeup line. Like, she's investing in herself multiple different ways.
Don't forget the Lola.
The Lola, the perfume?
The wine.
Oh, the wine. Oh, yeah, and she don't even drink, right? She doesn't even drink. And homegirl has a wine line. Like, if that doesn't tell you, like, you can do anything.
Actually, I wouldn't even call it a wine.
Okay.
Because there's one that has vodka in it and one that has tequila.
Okay.
So, I guess it's a spirits.
Spirits. Okay. But she don't drink. That's what's crazy. It's like she has a spirit line and homegirl
Yo
don't even
tampoco,
drink.
pero I have a bottle in my fridge.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
I'm like, in case there's a day that I want to, have a drink.
She comes to the house and be like, look, J-Lo, look what I got, Jennifer. And then lastly, it's always F everybody and do you and don't give up. Do you have anything you want to add?
No, I think you summed it up perfectly.
Yeah? All right. Well, Liz, thank you so much for being on Banking on Cultura.
I know. I hope I get to come back.
I would love to have you back. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being my bestie. Thank you for being such a beautiful soul and being a super fan of J-Lo. Because I get to, like, come along for the ride. I am a fan, but you are so much more deeper. Like, Liz called me and was like, you want to go to this concert? Do you want to go on the tour? I wasn't even thinking about the tour. And she's the one who called me up and I was like, yes, absolutely.
I'm like, I'm on the waiting line. I'm in the queue.
Yeah, she was like ready to go. She was like, you want to go? What's your budget? Like, let's go. It was so funny. But thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sharing. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode and I will see you guys on the next one.
Hey guys, before you tune into today's episode, I want to tell you about an opportunity where you can secure between 5 and 6 figures in corporate and government contracts. Now I know this might sound a little intimidating, especially if you've never done business at this level, or maybe you don't have a corporate background. I'm here to tell you that all of that does not matter. Did you know that only 4% of women in business hit $1 million in revenue? And of that 4%, 56% are able to hit $1 million in revenue because they go after these contracts. So if $1 million is on your vision board or just overall financial stability, corporate contracts is the way to go. I want to invite you to join me in my upcoming masterclass where I'm going to show you how to create a no-brainer offer so that executive buyers do not even question giving you their money. So who exactly is this class for? If you're a seasoned 9-to-5er planning for her exit, but you're unsure where to start, but you are sure that you're done building someone else's dream instead of your own, this class is for you. If you're a new entrepreneur and just overwhelmed with everything that you need to learn and accomplish and seeking out a mentor who gets it and understands, I want to see you in class. This is also for seasoned entrepreneurs who are having challenges with driving consistent revenue into their business. Now, here's the reality. You have the smarts, you have the skill set, you have the ambition, you have the thought leadership to get paid. My job is to help you package your expertise so that it becomes a no-brainer for people to pay you high 5- and 6-figure contracts. So click on the link below or in the show notes to get more details and to sign up for the class before we sell out. I cannot wait to see you there.
Mi gente, did you enjoy this episode? Are you loving Banking on Cultura? Make sure to subscribe and follow us. Our goal is to grow this community so that we can all embrace our Latinidad, secure the big bag, and never question our cultura ever again. Please also take a moment to leave us a review. I love reading your reviews. Let me know what you are thinking, what guests we should have on, and if there are any topics you would like me to cover. I appreciate you so much for being here. Te amo mucho, and I'll check you out in the next episode.